So, hello everyone. Welcome to the Demetra K Show. We are sitting here on this hot Sunday afternoon. It's like 100 degrees almost here. Just yesterday, we thought we might get some rain or something. It's weird. The weather out here in Southern California is super bipolar. Mm-hmm. So anyway, it is Sunday, the last day of June. Guess what tomorrow is?
Tax hike.
Rent. No.
Yeah. Rent is due.
Rent's due tomorrow.
And for those of us that are gun owners, it is your last day to purchase ammunition for your guns without a background check. So there's a run on a lot of ammo, and gas tax is going up.
I don't like how you had that close to my dome like
that. And that's a toy gun right there.
You a lie?
That's a toy gun.
You a lie?
It is.
Okay, well, I'm going to take your word for it.
It's a toy gun.
Just don't point it toward my head no more.
That's a toy gun. Trust me.
So anyway, you guys know a lot of things have been going on in just the world, but specifically, sorry about my camera moving, it's kind of like on a bobble thing, but in the United States, you guys know we are, I guess, kind of, I don't want to say we're full swing election season, but we are definitely in election season. You guys have seen that there were two Democratic debates that happened this week because the field is so large. What is it, like 27 people, but 26. Only 20 people qualified. So they broke it up 10 on one night and 10 on the other night. So we're going to get into all of that. And anything else you want to bring up, this is your opportunity to bring up whatever you want to talk about, because my topic here is kind of, it leaves the door open to talk about everything, if you will. So I will go ahead and get started, because I know, especially, I did a lot of what you call tweeting and posting about the debate.
So did I.
People had varying views, especially contrasting what I had to say. And so we'll go ahead and chop it up here if you guys don't mind. So let me go ahead and get started. So I want to say thank you to Donovan for everything you do. We are also on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, eventually YouTube, and of course, Facebook Live, the OG audience, the audience that gives us all the conversation. Yes, Taste has those debates that we can go back and forth. And so it is the purpose of the Demetra K Show to promote everything that goes on in the black community, black love, knowledge, understanding, you name it, to make us an even better people. I like to emphasize even, because we are dope already, but we can be better, right? And so the topic for today is, guess where I got the topic for today from?
The Dead Sea Scrolls.
The Dead Sea Scrolls.
Close?
You know.
No? Okay.
So anyway, the topic is, the job of the Resurrectors is to wake up the dead. All right, so let's get started. I don't really mind if it's over your head. Of course, I can't rap, because the job of the Resurrectors is to wake up the dead. That comes from Q-Tip of A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, I remember the verse.
Jazz, we got the jazz.
Right.
That's why I was like, okay.
Right.
And so I thought that was perfect to open the show with. And so on many occasions, black people in America have been called the walking dead, because we sometimes mentally and physically wander around without an original thought of our own, and we have no knowledge of self. Now, I'm speaking overall. I'm not talking individually, because, of course, somebody can say, well, I do. I'm not talking about us individually. I'm talking about us as a whole, a collective, right? All right, and so overall, we are known for taking on the identity and thought processes of the oppressor. You're right on time, Sydney. I swear I'm just getting started, okay? However, we are not totally to blame for the narcolepsy that we suffer from while in slavery. And of course, you know, I'm not really doing a firm timeline. It just kind of went off the top of my head today. Not a whole lot of research. So while in slavery, we were forced to erase our true identity from the motherland and forced, with the emphasis on force, to assimilate to that of the slave master. There was a period of time after slavery and during Jim Crow where we started to embrace our black selves out in the open and unapologetically. A man by the name of Marcus Garvey, he tried to not only wake up black people in America, but black people all over the world. Pan-Africanism, that's where that term comes from, right? So he wanted us to start doing for self and stop depending on the oppressor. Now, some of you might have heard of the Renaissances. Okay, well, what are the Renaissances, you might ask? Because a lot of people know of just the Harlem Renaissance, but the Renaissances took place really throughout the United States. Another most notable one was in San Francisco. Okay, and I'm sure by now most of you have heard all about the black towns like Rosewood and Greenwood in Florida and Tulsa, Oklahoma, where black people were completely functional and self-sufficient. So don't believe the hype, black people just need to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, because we did that before, right? Okay, and so, but then fear and brainwashing from the oppressor came into play again, right? Those communities were dismantled and taken over by the oppressor, which was the original goal. Years later, the civil rights movement arrived, and we were fighting for equality as human beings in America. Okay, imagine that, just to be called or treated like a human. Integration, I personally believe, that is when the final nail in the coffin for black people took place. Because remember, now we're the walking dead. Okay, we were sold the false idea of the illusion of inclusion, which is also known, as I said, as integration, the end of segregation. We fought to live next door to the oppressor, shop with the oppressor, attend school with the oppressor, among other things. The operative word is fought. We fought to do those things. I am sinking lower in this chair. But we fought to do those things. Now, during that time, a man by the name of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was trying to resurrect the black man by way of the Nation of Islam, telling us, we need to do for self, get knowledge of self, and the whole host of things. You guys can read about it in the Message to the Black Man in America. Again, he was trying to get black people to be self-sufficient, like Marcus Garvey was. Now, Malcolm X, who was also a member of the Nation of Islam, came along to further drive that point home. Of course, I don't need to belabor the point there. Moving along to more modern times, there's plenty of people in the new black media, black social media, if you will, a whole host of other black people who are trying to wake the dead. The dead being black people as a collective is not necessarily my term. It's just a term that most people know, right? Okay, and so who are the walking dead in the black community? Okay, so they are people who still believe that the oppressor is going to give them rights by simply voting, for the Democrats or Republican or whatever party you ascribe to, okay? Those who believe that the white man's ICE is colder than ours, basically those who do not practice group economics. I know that is kind of hard to do because collectively as black people, we don't own a lot of stuff. We do, but it's not together. So what I'm trying to say is we don't have like a black town like you have Chinatown,
Little Saigon,
all that other stuff. So it's kind of hard for us to do it, but we should do it whenever we get an opportunity. Those who turn their backs on their people for a pat on the back from the oppressor, people like your Candace Owens and your Clarence Thomas, and the list can go on and on. Those who champion for the rights of others before they champion for the rights of their own people. Let's speak about immigration, for example. We have a whole host of black people that cry and lament. I'm not saying it's a terrible thing. What the immigrants are going through is very terrible. It is very terrible. But they cry about them before they cry about ourselves. If you guys want a perfect example, look at all of the debates, both of the debates that took place this last week. Every last candidate on there, including the black ones, spent, you said 40 minutes on this last debate speaking about immigration rights or issues, right? Mm-hmm. And how many minutes on black issues? Less than 4 minutes. Less than 4 minutes speaking about black issues. So you guys do the math, right? So we're going to get into a bunch of topics today, like I said earlier, because my topic was just kind of really to tie everything we need to talk about this week. But before we do, I want to ask you guys this. Are you are you a resurrector or are you a part of the walking dead? Let's talk. So let me get to your comments. Donovan, do you have anything to say?
Well, I just want everybody to understand, or I just want to get everybody's question. Did you notice that when that Williamson lady started talking about reparations, who cut her off?
Oh, excuse me, for the only black person that's on the stage, I should be able to have something to say or whatever she said. Yes. Right, and cut her off. And did you notice that the moderators immediately switched the subject and just went away from it completely? Instead of saying, okay, go ahead and talk, that's an issue. Right. No, I mean,
I looked at it and I was like, that was deliberate. That was deliberate. They don't want it talked about at all. So
right, that was, like you said, deliberate. I have to agree with you. That was purposely glossed over, if you will. And as I said in my thing, okay, well, for Kamala to be the only, she made it a point to say the only black person on the stage. For her to be the only black person on the stage, she sure didn't say a word about reparations. Mm-hmm. She should have been the first one saying, excuse me, as a black person here in America, however she classifies herself, because there's a whole argument going on about exactly what type or kind or whatever blackness she is. But she should have been the one saying, you know, right, hey, we haven't talked about reparations in the last debate or this debate, so let's talk about it. But she didn't do that.
She didn't talk about any black issues.
Right. None. So she did, but she said how, you know, she, you know, ate, some people say ate, in my terms, ate Joe Biden's lunch, ate his lunch by, you know, saying, oh, I don't believe you're racist, but you think with the things you did were very hurtful and this, that, and the other. And,
but the thing is, she's not the one to talk about that because that's not her story.
Well, that's what the lady said.
Yeah.
She said it was her story.
It's not her story.
You know, she was bussed and she was part of the whole bussing issue.
And I challenge anybody out there to find documentation where Kamala was bussed. Her parents were in Oakland a brief time. They were professors at Berkeley. The mom, being Indian, after the divorce, immediately went to move to Canada near her sister. Kamala Harris did not come back to the United States until she was in college.
But she went to Howard. Right.
So
that's the story I heard. So it sounds like it's kind of all over the place now.
It doesn't make any sense what she's saying that she was bussed. When?
Right. Hey Charlie, what's happening? Marcus says I'm here. Yay! Thank you to Marcus too for everything that you do on the show behind the scenes. And then Charlie says hello to all. So she's going to include you this time.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm just kidding. Amanda says, yo.
Hey. Did you mount that TV?
Yes.
And I'll be waiting for you Friday, by the way.
And Amanda wanted a TV. Amanda's the luckiest person like in the world. She always wins stuff.
So wait. By the way, Sunday, I want her on the show.
Okay.
Coming up.
Okay.
Because I want people to think that she's real.
That she's a figment of your imagination.
Yeah, imagination. And I want people to see how beauty runs in this family.
Okay, got it. And Charles says, look at that beautiful black woman, Dee. Good evening and speaking the truth. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I'm so flattered. I'm just kidding. And Cindy says, I think the whole MSNBC moderators were bad.
They were.
You think? I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Lester Holt, but it's like MSNBC purports, if that's the right term to say, to be this liberal, they're very liberal and
progressive.
Progressive.
They're nowhere near progressive.
What's more progressive than to be talking about reparations?
Right.
I'm not saying this should have, taken over the whole debate. You guys can see Donovan's cat. I'm not saying it should have taken over the whole debate, but at least should have got a mention, especially since the reparations hearing was a week ago.
Right.
A week ago to the day of the first debate. And so it's like, how quickly you forget?
Yeah, or they could at least ask, are you for reparations or not? Just that alone.
Right. But no, even like you said, with Marianne Williamson, who I like, a lot of people are kind of making fun of her because they're like, oh, she's going to, win the election with love. But, hey, many people have talked about love conquering all,
Hey, well, Trump won it by grabbing him by the...
You know what? But Marianne Williamson, she brought up reparation. In fact, I want to say she was one of the first candidates when she announced to start talking about reparations. In fact, not only did she say, hey, I think black people deserve reparations, she was like well versed in, what happened, the traumas and, this, that, and the other, all the money that slave masters made from slavery. So she knew her stuff.
And she was the first person to put a monetary amount that she thought, it was wholly undersized, but at least she had the wherewithal to know that it's going to cost the United States something.
Right, exactly. And then Charlie says, resurrection. Yes, we as black people need a resurrection. Like, we've been walking around here dead for so long. It's Like, they could have made The Walking Dead after us.
Generation fail.
Golly, it's just like, at some point in time, and I know we're going to get into it eventually. Somebody going to bring it up. And Tay says they don't want to talk about it, reparations, because it's such a hot button topic amongst white people. They know they have to coddle the fragile folks. For votes, yes. And let's bring up Kamala Harris. There's a soundbite going around. She had an interview. I can't remember who the interview was with. But they asked her about reparations. And then, my daughter brought this up. She says, when did she become so hood? Because she was like, and I'm paraphrasing, but I'm not going to just do something for black people. I got to do something that benefit everybody. I can't just do something that, because what benefits black people benefits everybody. Or
all boats, the rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah, so she's telling people.
She's telling us. She's not telling people. She's telling us.
So to Tay's point, she's coddling. Let's just keep it real. White folks. I don't want to make them mad because I need them to vote. And guess what? This is probably also what she's thinking. Black people gonna vote for me anyway.
Mm-hmm. All I gotta do is get the nomination.
Because black people overwhelmingly vote for Democrats, so they gonna vote for me anyway. I ain't got to give them nothing. I ain't got to throw them a bone. Mm-hmm. In fact, I ain't even got to lie. Hell, at least some of the candidates are saying, well, let's do a study.
Well, how many of you guys are aware that Monday last week, the House of Representatives, the Senate had passed it. They gave the migrants and the illegals $320-something million, no questions asked.
I went to the border.
Went to the border, but it went to help them.
Right.
People that aren't citizens,
right, that
don't pay into the tax system, no questions asked, no talking. Here's $320 million for people who aren't even citizens here.
Right, but you can't get $1 for reparations,
Mm-hmm.
And hey, Ben, there's a long time no see. He says none of these people will do anything for black people, not one. You know what, though?
You're right.
See, you're preaching to the choir.
Mm-hmm.
You need to tell that to a lot of people who are like, we need to vote Democrat regardless. We need to get rid of Trump. As if it's black people's job to get rid of Trump. It's not our job to get rid of Trump.
We didn't put him in there.
But people will say that, because we didn't vote. Hell, keep it real. Black people,
80% of the black vote went to Hillary
But not
Clinton.
only that, we ain't been overwhelmingly voting in no election. So all of a sudden it's our fault that Trump got in the office. No, it's the fault of white women. I could be wrong with it.
No, you're right, statistically.
White women. And a whole lot of white men who was so, Trump is making America great again, until he started snatching or trying to their Affordable Care Act, which they didn't know was Obamacare, and these truck drivers who running around with the MAGA hats on, who are losing money because of a lot of the laws and stuff he's implementing. So those are the people that you guys need to be talking to that got Trump in there. And those are the people you guys need to talk to and say, maybe this time you need to vote differently, whatever that differently is. But it's not on us to get rid of Trump. It's not our job.
I have a good question for you. Let's say the Democratic nominee gets in there. What's going to change for black people?
Well, what's going to change is
what? We had a black president. What changed for us? Do you know under Obama the white millionaires doubled under Obama? Mm-hmm. So let's talk about what he did for black people. Oops, that's right, he didn't do anything.
Well, what I'm not going to do is, I'm not going to do something just for black people. What I do for everybody going to benefit black people.
Right.
My daughter's like, when did Kamala get so hood? Like, she got all this, what I'm not going to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, she got hood when she was the side chick for Willie Brown.
You know what? So
that's when she got hood.
Amanda says, fully mounted and functioning her television. She says,
oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Oh.
Yes, baby. It's functioning, fully mounted.
What about Yang? Okay, what about Yang? Yang is not for reparations, but he is for, as some people would say, some form of reparations, and that he wants to give $1,000 to $2,000 a month to all Americans 18
guaranteed
and over,
living wage.
Guaranteed living wage, universal basic income, or freedom. What do you call it? Freedom dividend. Freedom dividend to do whatever you want with it. You don't have to qualify for it every month. It's not welfare, as some people would say. He has a lot of initiatives and things that really make sense.
And guess who stole his idea of the freedom dividend?
Who?
Kamala Harris. About I'm gonna get $500.
Well, she was talking about that at first for $500 to help, because I heard her saying for rent. To help people with rent.
But she got the idea from Andrew Yang.
Okay, well, she probably did. Mm-hmm. Another thing that I like that he has from the last time I checked, about 78 initiatives But another thing that I like that Andrew Yang has is the democracy dollars, in that every American has democracy dollars that they can give to their candidate, opposed to the candidates getting money from lobbyists and people who are going to pay for laws, for lack of better words. The democracy dollars will come from us, and we can give them to whoever we need it. And you go, obviously, who has the most money can do the most things with their campaign. So there's a lot of stuff. But I like Andrew Yang. But if we're talking about ADOS, American Descendants of Slave, and getting reparations,
there's no candidate. There's no candidate that even represents that. But for me, if I had to back a candidate, I would back Andrew Yang. I'm sorry. I'm just saying he has no chance in hell of winning, but I'd rather give my vote to Andrew Yang than give it to a Kamala Harris or these people that are going to get in there and do absolutely nothing.
And then on the debate stage too, he was, I mean, I don't know if he's maybe a shy kind of guy.
They didn't even address any questions to him except one.
Yeah, I didn't even see him try to jump in that course.
He said that his mic wasn't working.
Oh, because I was wondering why he was so quiet.
Because he tried to get in and he said the mic wasn't working.
Well, maybe it was on purpose.
That's
because
what he
I've
was
seen him in a
alluding
lot
to.
of other interviews, and he was very outspoken and that kind of stuff. So anyway, Charles says, Mother F. Kamala Harris, a corporate Negro is worse than an open white racist. At least we know where the white racist stands, but these enemies within got no time for them. Absolutely. And for those of you guys, I'm not talking to you guys specifically, but a lot of people say we need to vote regardless, whoever's on the blue ticket, if you will. Do you guys ever listen to Malcolm X?
I do.
How can you follow or say that you even follow Malcolm X and you don't do any of the things he says? Like, we talked about this before. Oh, Malcolm X, he was this, he was that. We just talk about him, but are we doing any of the things that he taught us? And he clearly said that neither one of those parties made black people any good. If you guys go and watch and listen to and read the Bullet or the Ballot, or the Ballot or the Bullet rather, he talked about, so a lot of people misconstrue that and say, oh, well, he said you need to vote regardless. No, he's saying vote, but vote for what's going to get you something.
Right.
And if that vote doesn't work, then it might be the bullet. Like, we need to take what they are not going to give us. And that speech was made in 1964. And from that point, they still haven't given us anything significant by way of voting.
I did on my podcast Friday. I specifically spelled out Republican Party, Democratic Party, two arms of the same white.
Two wings of the same bird.
Two wings of the same bird of the white supremacy agenda. It doesn't matter.
Right. And Amanda says, nah, only if you can give a lap dance on camera.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Y'all need to get the inbox of that. And Al, what's happening? It says KD signs 4 years, $164 million with Brooklyn. Well, go ahead, Kevin. That's basketball talk. I said that like I knew what I was.
Oh, he's going to Brooklyn? All right.
Okay. And Tay says it was reposted that DNC is heavily handed when it comes to the debates. So basically,
it's all rigged.
Kamala was their racehorse, if you will, because it was kind of said that in the beginning.
Well, the debates weren't even over, and they said, "Oh gosh, Kamala killed it."
Yeah, she owned the night.
Yeah, it's like she.
And a lot of people will say, and it's funny because me and Donna was just talking about that when we first came on. I said it's funny how those people who were saying, "Oh, Kamala, she really gave it to Joe and she let him have it."
Crushed it.
They was on his jock a week ago.
Right.
Oh, Joe Biden, yes, Joe Biden. But now all of a sudden she came with these practice talking points.
And of course, you have nothing as a candidate, especially as a woman. And I'm not saying the down women, but when you go to the sympathy thing. You ain't got nothing.
Yeah, she came with that practice line of, come on, guys.
Yes.
They didn't want to come to see a lunchroom fight. They came to see us if we could put food on the table.
And what meme did I put up? Yes, they did. Yes, they did come to see a lunchroom fight.
And Sydney says, I like Williamson. I like Williamson, too.
Yeah.
I like her.
Well, everybody, you got to really understand. These corporate Democrats, you're not going to beat Trump with a corporate Democrat. That's just the bottom line.
Hillary is a good example.
Exactly.
Right.
If Hillary couldn't do it herself, Kamala, if a white woman couldn't get elected, you think a so-called Indian woman who identifies as black is going to get elected?
Donovan is not giving her the black woman pass.
No.
And Amanda says, just like the first purge was when they were trying to take us out. Yeah, I mean, I honestly believe, I don't know who is behind that movie, But I believe they were trying to tell us something, you know. But we continue to just we're the. Like my mom used to hate me say we were the Walking Dead. Oh, you know, you shouldn't say that about us, this, that, and but it's just the truth.
It's just true.
Like, why are we still being duped by political parties? And I'm not, see, a lot of times when I say stuff about the Democrats, people say, oh, well, you're trying to get us to vote for Trump. Like, you dumbass. Excuse me. I gotta try to keep that contained. But it's like, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we're voting for the lesser two evils is not getting us anything. Right. You're just, we need to be involved. You can't be heard. And I keep asking people, well, you've been voting. What have people heard you say with your vote so far?
60 years. It's a transaction and you have been giving them your vote and they've been giving you nothing. Right.
And Al says, if nobody ever forget 9/11, nobody should forget slavery. Right. I mean, I totally agree. They're both acts of terrorism that was committed on the American soil against, I don't know if you want to call us Americans at the time, but so-called American people. Both acts of terror. Nothing is more terroristic than the institution of slavery.
Well, I'm going to show you how crafty
good analogy.
Yeah, how crafty the Democratic Party is. Did you hear what Senator Dianne Feinstein said? The old Methuselah herself.
I didn't know Dianne Feinstein was still in the... I haven't heard anything about... I mean, I know she was, but where's she been?
She's a Republican posing as a Democrat.
Right, I believe that.
They asked her about the reparations thing. Do you know what she said?
What?
Yo, they need to get over that.
No, what she said was what they gonna do. They ain't gonna do nothing but talk about it, and then they gonna continue to vote for us, and we gonna continue to not do nothing.
And they continue to ask a lot of senators, Republican and Democrat, and here's the code word. Oh... I'm gonna look into that. Means I don't care. Oh, I don't care.
Right. But we need to band together and make sure that they actually do something. And Tay says, Essence posted an article about how black people shouldn't just vote for the popular candidate, and folks went wild. I can imagine, right? Mm-hmm. We must stop voting for Dems because they pander to black people. Pander to black people. We have to start using our brains and think about what these candidates are doing, not just saying it's time to wake the F up. Can you tell them again? For the ones in the back?
Right.
It's like, I like...
Wow.
It's not nice to call people names, and I try not to do that in the public anyway. I do it behind closed doors a lot. But it's like, what do you guys like? What are you expecting differently to happen by just voting?
Well, on my podcast, a lot of people gave me some feedback, and they're like, "Oh, you're doing for Trump, whatever." I said, "Look, it's not my job to tell you who to vote for."
And I never understood that. Not to cut you off, but why is it because you're trying to wake people up? Oh, well, you're helping Trump,
right?
Well, so okay, what you're saying is you just be quiet, don't wake them up, so that Trump can get out of office, and that's the cold part. Black people and people who want us to stay asleep are saying, "I would rather." Black people stay asleep than to wake up and come into full knowledge of ourselves just to get Trump out of office. Right. You get Trump in the office, whether it's Kamala, Bernie, whoever, Joe Biden, they're still going to do the same. They may not be as overt as Trump, but they're still going to do the same things that Trump did. Maybe just not as outspoken and douchebaggery, if you will.
Let's not even talk about the executive. Let's talk about our local representatives. What has the Congressional Black Talkers done for you except enrich themselves?
They do a lot of talking. They're going to do stuff, and
and it never gets done. And
they the cat in Virginia, the dude who was supposedly taking a picture in blackface, the governor, but then he said it wasn't him, or he don't remember if it's him. The Black Caucus was demanding that he step down, and we're going to do this, and I haven't heard a peep out of them since. I haven't heard a peep. And so Charlie says, we absolutely could, quote unquote in parentheses, give reparations to black people. Here's how. Okay, well, we waiting for the rest of it.
Send me that file, brother.
I think Charlie is let me make sure. Charlie's a woman.
Okay. Oh, sister, send it to me.
And Tay says, I was mad that Yang was basically ignored during the debate. He has a lot of good things to say. Yes, he does.
Anybody that was progressive,
twice, right?
Anybody that's progressive, they do not want Bernie to get the nomination. So anybody that was progressive don't get.
I was trying to lick my chair up.
Anybody that is progressive doesn't get any talking points, and the DNC set it up that way.
Right.
They've set it up that way.
Okay. And so our city says, I'm a need for Donovan to stop calling her outside of her name.
Can't do it. It's an accurate description of a person who does what she has done in California. Innocent person.
I tried.
Innocent person being locked up. You're locking up truant people. You're lying to people straight out about your record. That's a bitch in my definition.
No, Charlie is not a woman. It's a man. Unless I'm seeing two different Charlies. So we gonna get this right. I promise. And Al says the monthly money that Andrew wants. I hope he's not talking a bunch of yin yang. You a fool. Hey Whitney, he says, do you think they would really pay reparations?
No.
Yes. I'm going to tell you how they would really pay reparations. They would really pay reparations if we would really
be serious
and collectively get together and stop having a schism within our community. Like we have some people say, "Oh, we'll never get it." Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm gonna just vote for whoever's on the blue ticket. I don't want to withhold my vote.
Or and don't get me wrong, I'm not against feminism. I'm not a feminist, but having that group join the rest of us, and we can fight later about other things. But you got the feminists that are just going to sell off one part of the collective.
I mean, but you think of somebody like the LGBTQ
they
party,
get their shit.
They get their stuff because they withhold stuff. Like they shut stuff down.
The illegals get their stuff.
They shut stuff down. Women, white women, black women think they're doing stuff, but they're there for a body count. They shut stuff down.
How can a person who's not a citizen of your country get issued driver's licenses and all these other benefits and get on the public dole?
Right, and all of those candidates got up there and said, yes, I would...
open borders.
Yeah, or have do something for pathway to citizenship. And, of course, they're showing these pictures and more stories are coming out about these things that are happening at the border. But you know what they don't tell you? Is that Mexico has what they call the concentration camp, too. And guess who's in those concentration camps?
Africans
and Haitians.
Haitians, yeah.
Are in those concentration camps, if you're going to call it that. They're not eating adequately. They can't go to the bathroom. It's sound like a slave ship, right?
Right. And why are they in there again, D?
Because they don't want them to come over here. But they don't stop their people from coming over here.
Wait. And how many of us that love the Clintons so much remember that when the Haitians were coming over on the boats, who was president stopping them?
They were spamming, go back into the water. Right.
That was the Clintons.
A Democrat.
Wow.
Doing the same thing
White
that Trump
supremacy.
Is doing. Right.
Two arms of the same
So, yes,
monster.
I think they would pay if we would stop.
Stay together.
We would stay together. Stop, being so...
Start demanding our rights.
Yeah, and saying, I know it's unpopular, but if it means that we don't vote, we don't vote. Let the people who are benefiting vote and, get whoever they want to get in, and we just continue to do what we're doing.
When are we going to get outraged? Illegals just got $300 and something million, no questions asked.
Well, it's not right what they're doing to them, which is not.
Wait. Have you been to the city of Baltimore, Chocolate City?
I haven't been. No, I haven't been.
Those people need $320 million for their infrastructure and their citizens.
Or Flint, they could probably use some fresh, clean water.
When are we going to get outraged enough to do something?
And then Charles says political chumps is what Malcolm called them. Yes, he did. People, and especially people who just go along with the get along. I'm going to vote for the lesser of two evils.
Still evil.
Malcolm impressed upon us to get something for your vote. Stop going and giving away your vote and coming back with nothing. We always use the analogy of going to a store. I'm going to buy a loaf of bread. I don't come out with the bread, but I left my money. So what was the purpose of going in there if you didn't get something for your money?
Thank you.
It's the same thing when you vote. You want to invest your vote in order to get something. Otherwise, I'm going to save my money / vote for a rainy day when something that is more appeasing to me comes along.
So let me ask you this.
Sure.
If the a Democratic nominee is somebody that you might not support, are you going to still vote for that person?
Well, say that one more time.
Or will you vote for the Democratic nominee no matter who it is?
I'm firm in not voting if that person is not. And as Dr. Claude Anderson always says, don't just let them give us lip service. Actually hold them contractually to what they say. Like, if they're going to go to Washington with our votes, they need to go with a contract so that we can hold them to it when they get up there. Right. Instead of saying, well, they said they going to do it like they always do. And y'all, what's happening says, what do you lose when you vote? What you lose is your integrity and your dignity and your common sense. That and respect. Because nobody respects
obviously
you.
They don't respect us.
Right. Nobody respects you. The Democrats don't respect us. The Republicans don't respect us. But they expect us to give us their vote no matter what. So we keep saying we're going to vote for the lesser two evils. We need to get Trump out. And then what? So we get Trump out and then what? What do we get? Do we magically get something?
They put another white supremacist arm in there.
Do we magically get something? I'm saying we as black people. I'm speaking for the collective, the culture of black people. What do we get when because that's people were saying, when we get Trump out, what do black people get? And you also say it takes a few minutes. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I have to also think about this. Why do you think the Democratic Party is caping so hard for Hispanics? Because they're replacing us. They're saying, you know what? Too many of y'all are starting to wake up. We're done. We're going to get these people who are desperate.
Right. If you legalize them, especially in California, they're the majority.
Exactly.
Guess what? If just like they did us, the party is going to give you stuff and champion, your stuff. We'll get their vote.
Exactly.
We'll continue to have their vote. And eventually they'll do the Hispanics like they did us. At first we'll say we'll give them something. We'll give them some voters' rights or whatever. And then after that, we'll just have them so loyal, we'll just stop delivering.
And we won't need to worry about the black person anymore.
And Dr. Claude Anderson, you guys should really follow him. He talks about that a lot. He says black people are almost non-existent. We are at the bottom of the totem pole of everything in society. Yes. He says all the time that immigrants aren't coming over here to help us. Because I hear Negroes saying that all the time. Oh, we need to band together. No. They're not trying to come band with us. Name me one Hispanic leader anywhere that says, let's lock arms with black people. We need to get stuff together. They know they don't need black people.
Well, name me one Hispanic leader or Hispanic organization or Congress member that when Sandra Bland or any of these black people are shot down in the streets were up there in arms protesting it.
You guys notice too, and I'm going to get to these comments at the debate, George Jorge, somebody from Univision, I can't remember his name, but whenever he spoke, what did he do?
Talking Spanish.
That's rude. I shouldn't write because I don't know Spanish. But he said whatever he said in Spanish.
Hola, Pachicato.
All of that. And then he spoke in English because he knows that his people are watching and that his people have the most to gain.
And did you notice that some of the candidates spoke in Spanish?
Yes, they did. Oh,
I thought I was watching Telemundo for a second.
You ain't lying. And Charles says, Joe just want to smell Kamala's hair. He don't got a chance in hell to win, nor any corporate Democrat. I think Joe probably has a good chance of winning.
That's who they want. They've already picked out. Okay, Joe just stumbled, so now they're going back to Kamala because Kamala stumbled out the gate when she started. So now these are the two people that they're going to run.
I tell you what, the next debate, Joe ain't going to let her do that to him again.
Exactly.
I guarantee you, which I was like, well, damn, Joe, why you didn't bring up her record? Because she ain't no better than you. But I guarantee you, it's like a lot of people say, oh, she's going to be able to take on Trump. Trump,
eat her up.
I like
Trump's going to grab her by the pee. I'm sorry.
Trump is that kid in the sandbox that will throw sand in your eyes to win. Y'all think that she going to get up there and manhandle Trump? Y'all got another thing coming.
Remember what he did to Hillary?
They called her nasty woman.
Wait. If you're at the debate, remember he's behind her? Nope. Incorrect. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, walking behind her.
You know what? Look. He's just creepy stuff. Wow.
Charlie says, I know so many black Americans who voted for Trump and say they will vote again for Trump because Democrats are not Christians because they give rights to gay rights and have abortion rights. Well, there you have it. And abortion disproportionately hurts black people. So for you guys who are saying, I'm going to vote blue regardless just to get Trump out of office, know that he is a douchebag. I probably should find another word. I promise I'll find another word. But some of the things are actually helpful to black people, because we need to start actually growing in numbers, not decreasing. And banning abortion, whether you see it one way or the other, actually does help black people. It's just a fact.
Did anybody see Trump illegally cross the border in North Korea? He didn't fill out any paperwork.
Y'all says, no, we haven't been voting as a mass, but we need to, like everybody else does. Everybody else, for the most part, votes. I mean, I guess I probably shouldn't say that, because people vote on different sides.
Right.
But we have the most to lose, and we have lost the most.
And we need to get together, and for those of us that have been incarcerated, get our rights back and get behind that legislation that restores prisoners' rights to vote.
Right. And so y'all says, please discuss how laws get passed. The way you're talking sounds like a few people can pass laws by themselves. Oh, don't get it confused. Believe it or not, just a few people do get laws passed by themselves.
Just a few people
you know
write
who
the
those
laws.
people are called?
Lobbyists.
Lobbyists.
They write the laws and they get them passed. And here's the check.
Don't think for one moment that you going in there and voting is doing something, okay? Money speaks louder than any vote or anything you can think. That's why, like Andrew Yang said, if they have democracy dollars, then the people can give money, donate money to the campaign that they want, opposed to these lobbyists going there and say, hey, you know what, go on and pass that law. You know, I know you've been wanting this for your husband. Here's some money on the low. So I get what you're saying. I know how law works.
Right, but give them a real example. Here in California, we had a gas tax that was passed and nobody voted on it.
But guess who's going to get a gas hike tomorrow in the taxes? We are to the tune of 12 cents a gallon more. And we are already at $4 plus in some places in Southern California alone. And we're going to get $12 more.
But the point is...
12 more cents added.
But the point is, Democratic governor, Democratic legislator passed a bill that nobody voted on.
Right, so then how did it get passed?
They just lobbyists. They said this is what we're going to do.
Right. And Cindy says, I saw Donovan hashtag Trump 2020.
No. Wait. When you saw that, a lot of people mistake what I was saying.
You should saw Donovan's face. He's like,
yeah, what? Yeah. Don't get that mistaken. What I was saying in that...
Lean to the camera so they can see you.
Yeah. What I was saying in that was, if you put up a corporate Democrat, it's going to be Donald Trump 2020. You're not going to beat him using a Hillary Clinton clone. To beat Donald Trump, you need to do something different than what you did previously. So all I'm saying is, as a political junkie, it's going to be Donald Trump 2020.
He's predicting it is what he's saying. He's predicting what is going to happen in 2020. And, you know, Donovan's not the only one that's saying it. A lot of people are saying that. What we have now, at the rate we're going, when I say we, I'm speaking, not that I'm a Democrat because I'm not partisan, but for what we have on the opposition, they're saying that it's just going to be another, Trump 2020.
Look at the Democratic candidates. These guys are corporate. You're not going to... You got over 20 candidates, and all but maybe 3 of them are full of shit. And the 3 that are decent have no chance of winning because the Democratic Party, white supremacy, is going to suppress them. Right. They're turning off their mics and stuff like that. Because think about it. Nobody was talking what Bernie was talking. Bernie doesn't have a chance here because they don't want to get the nomination.
Right.
So, but now, everybody's got Bernie's talking points.
Right.
All of a sudden.
Right. And Charlie says, Demetra K., you are so right. I don't know what that was in regards to, but thank you. And then Charles, you say congressional black talkers love it. Okay, we're behind it. And Tay says, I said on Facebook that if these debates were showcasing the best and brightest of the DNC, throw the whole thing away and start over. Yes,
thank you. Thank you.
Charlie says, Charlie is a man, not a woman. Laugh out loud. My apologies. Yes. There must be another Charlie on here because I saw a picture of a woman, so my apologies. And Whitney says, when it's no money, okay? And so I'm sorry, I don't know what, if you can reiterate your point. And Charlie says, a step-by-step guide to paying the descendants of enslaved Africans, Headshot. He says, Headshot by Julia Craving. Okay. And then y'all says, makes no sense. What makes no sense? And Sydney says, what's the title of the show? Donovan, pick up Dr. Amos Wilson's hashtag Stay Woke. Okay. And then
write that down.
Sydney says Chocolate City is DC. Yes.
Okay.
Because you said Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore. So they're right next door to each other. So.
And trust me, Donovan's been all over the world. And then Charlie says Flint, Michigan needs the money for water. Yeah,
Right.
but why aren't we talking about that? Why are we?
No, why are our tax dollars going to people? And it's a shame what's going on down there. No questions asked. $320 million was just given to them quietly. They didn't think anybody would be watching.
And that's what I told my daughter the other day. I said, while we're talking about this other stuff, what are being distracted? Some people say, what is it that we're really missing that we're supposed to be seeing? And so, Alton, I'd like to see the debates to eliminate all the audience cheering, because all it does is get the candidates hyped and shouting into things they really don't mean. Well, okay.
Well, Kamala's